Welcome to Marketing with Confidence. I'm your host, Marianne Amies. We're going to be talking all things digital and online marketing for business owners and marketing professionals. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by your digital marketing, be sure to listen along and you'll hear tips, interviews and more that will give you the confidence to create marketing you love. Hi and welcome back to another episode of Marketing with Confidence. Today, I'm going to take you through a digital marketing toolkit and a bit of a digital marketing checklist for small businesses. I know when you're starting out in business, or even if you've been going for a few years, there's always that sense of what should I be doing? And I think there's a lot of advice out there, and it can sometimes get a little bit confusing, and it can also get overwhelming in terms of what is essential and then what are, strategies or ideas that you can build upon over time. So thinking about a digital marketing checklist is really about the essential activities or the essential programs, the essential platforms that you're going to pull together to have a digital marketing ecosystem that really works for your business. And I really want to start thinking about digital marketing in terms of an ecosystem. And we're going to be talking more about this in the coming episodes. Think about how everything in your digital marketing is interrelated. So your website with your social media with your email marketing with your ads, everything can work together to support each other and drive efficiency from your activities. So rather than thinking about, what you're doing on social media and neglecting your website, you need to think about how all the elements are going to work together for you to drive the results that you're looking for. So when I think about a social media or digital marketing checklist, I'm really thinking about what are the core activities you need to be doing to make sure that you're maximizing all the opportunities that digital marketing has for your business. So the first thing I want on your checklist is goals. It's really important to have a sense of where you're heading. And, your goals and your vision is what's really going to strategize or guide your whole program. Having that idea of where you're going is going to help make those decisions of what your ecosystem needs to have in it to get you there. So goals in marketing can include things like awareness. They can include things like inquiry, sales, email sign-ups, add to carts, downloads. So think about, your ultimate is obviously conversion. We all want to get to that point of conversion, whether that's bookings in our private practice, whether that's, buying now done for you services or, buying our products online. That's our end goal. But what are the smaller goals that we need to achieve to get there? And, I can hand on heart say for majority of small business, increasing awareness is always a key goal because we're looking to get out there one way or another to be discovered, to start building that trust to lead to that ultimate conversion. So you want to have about 3 to 5 marketing goals in place. So what you're hoping your marketing is going to achieve for you. And of course, those goals need to be SMART. So that's your specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So for example, in the next 6 months, which gives us time-bound, we want to increase website traffic by 30%, to our lead, like our landing page, our lead generation page. So it's very specific in terms of, what traffic we want to increase. Measurable because we have a goal of increasing by 30% and we can measure it against that page's traffic. Is it achievable? That's going to determine on the activities you put in place to achieve it. It's quite relevant because that increase in traffic to that page means that we've grown awareness and we're on our path to conversion. And obviously it's time bound in that we're saying in the next 6 months. So you want your goals to be SMART. And, you want them to be relevant to your business and where you're heading. And as part of that goals in your checklist, you want to really understand your target audience. And, it's something I've spoken about a lot, and I've definitely got other podcast episodes on how to do that. But, having your target audience defined and your goals in place gives you a real, top line, but strategic base to build your marketing upon. So once you've got that in your checklist, then your next item, I think, is your content marketing strategy or your content marketing activities. So for a small business, these might be, blog posts, social media. It might be about content creation in terms of, you showing up on camera or how you're going to do product demonstrations or, what are the video, graphics and written content that you are going to create and execute for your business. So in that checklist, I think it's really good to kind of have your content themes. Sometimes we call them content pillars. So what are the areas that you need to communicate about or talk about that are going to take people on that journey from awareness to conversion? And then looking at a bit of a calendar of how you're going to roll that out over 6 months. Now, depending on your business, that calendar might involve seasonal things. If you're a wallet company, you might then be going, okay, there's Afterpay Day in August, September's Father's Day, then we've kind of got that spring, summer, maybe dropping some new products there. And then we're coming into that November madness of Click Frenzy, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then the rush to Christmas. So your calendar may be very much based around those e-commerce or shopping sort of seasonal items. If you're if you're more of a medical practice or say physiotherapist, that content might then be more around, seasonal. So it might be, okay, we're going to talk about the winter aches and pains, and then we're going to come into, knowing in spring, summer, a lot of people get that renewed energy to exercise. So let's talk about stretching and looking after your body when you return to exercise. Or when does kids sport, start up again? Let's have some content around kids and sport and stretching. So you want to kind of look at a calendar and think about that ideal client and what's going to be the right content to deliver them at the right time. And so, this is very much about taking those goals and then having a bit of a plan of how you're going to achieve them over 6 months. I personally like to plan around 6 months at a time. I know, traditionally and decades ago, I would have done more of a 12-month plan. I think with small business, the benefit of our agility is that we can change very quickly to what's happening in the market and what's happening with our consumers. So planning 12 months out, I think, is a little bit difficult or can be a little bit wasted, because we might get 4 months in and actually want to pivot our messaging, or our consumer might be really responding to something and we want to make those changes. So planning 6 months at a time, I think, gives you a good run of, really strategic, tactical executions, but not so much so that, you've made this big, long 12-month plan and 3 months in, the back half's not relevant. So in your checklist, along with your goals, you're going to have your kind of your marketing calendar and a bit of your content marketing plan at the top level. Then what you're going to have is your placement or your, what is part of your ecosystem would be next on your checklist. So is a website appropriate? Yes, a website's always appropriate. There's no single business that doesn't need one. Oh, look, then I would say maybe some cafe hospitality might not need a fully fledged website, but I really do believe that every single business can benefit from a very simple website, through to a website that can automate customer service, that can, allow people to check out and that sort of thing. So having a web presence is, I believe, the center of your digital marketing ecosystem. And we talked about owned and borrowed media, and, that website is your owned media. It's something that can't be taken from you. The second you get a website, you're on your way to stronger ability to be found online. Websites that are created, 10 to 20 years ago index better than websites created today. So the sooner you get a website, the sooner it can start working for you. So websites on the checklist under, building your digital ecosystem, but I would also say please check that box. Then you've got SEO. Is SEO going to be appropriate for your business, and to what degree? Now, SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. So again, SEO is about the efforts you do today that will pay off in the years to come. Putting an SEO strategy in today is not going to get you sales and inquiry tomorrow, but certainly not putting the effort in at all means you're going to rely on, pushing more. You're going to be relying on paid, or you're going to be relying on socials a lot more. So, looking in your checklist on what degree of SEO is important, and that also comes down to how competitive your market is. If you're a local business, or, if you're a Australia-wide business or a global business, that's going to really depend how unique or how common your product is, and obviously how your target market looks for your product as well. So looking at SEO and kind of assessing how that needs to be part of your strategy and to what degree. Then we've got our social media. So again, I think that most businesses can benefit from a social media presence. And really here on your checklist is around what social media channels are for you. So is it going to be Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, X, or a combination? I like to say focus on about 2 channels. Facebook and Instagram are very similar in many ways, and Facebook probably just needs a little bit more of tweaking of what you create on Instagram. But outside of those 2, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, they do need quite different strategies. So I think, focusing on just 2 is probably enough for most small businesses. And once they're really ticking over and thriving, then sure, as a growth plan, look at additional channels. But, in your checklist should be which social media channels you're going to go after, what your primary channel is, what your secondary channel is, and then, how you're going to distribute your content. Again, coming back to those content themes, how they're going to play out on those channels. You might be focusing certain content themes into TikTok. You might say, well, all our behind the scenes and sort of team content is going to go through TikTok. On Instagram, we're going to really focus on our education and our kind of face-to-camera personal media. And then on LinkedIn, we're really going to focus on our expertise and our testimonials. So, that content pillars or content themes can play out differently across those social media platforms depending on what's appropriate. Then in your checklist, I want you to look at email marketing. Again, email marketing, I believe, has become more and more relevant and more important. And I did a podcast episode a couple of weeks ago about first-party data and how important that is to collect. And first-party data, starts off in its infancy as email marketing data, and then we build it out. But that data can go back into other platforms to help make our marketing more efficient. So, in terms of email marketing, what does that look like for your business? If you're very B2B, is it just a monthly newsletter? Is it, educational newsletters? Is it promotional newsletters? A mix of those. If you're in that e-commerce, it's your abandoned cart series, it's your welcome series, it's your, weekly or fortnightly emails. And, with email marketing, we've been given permission to contact this email list, and people can certainly leave that list very easily when it doesn't serve them anymore. So don't hesitate. I hear a lot of people talk about, I don't want to bombard people. Your customer has opted in to hear from you. They've said yes. So you're welcome to email them. Now, emailing somebody once a week is not necessarily bombarding them. When you think of the volume of emails we all receive in a week, I don't think you're going to think of that one company sending you one email out of the, in my case, probably 10,000 emails I receive a week. Unlikely rather to realize a week later that I heard from you last week. And again, if somebody feels like that frequency is too high, they're going to leave that list, and that is okay. We don't want people on the list that don't want to hear from us, that aren't engaged with us. And we can keep an eye on our unsubscribes. And if we see it increasing, well, then we can change our email marketing strategy. But email marketing, should really form part of your digital marketing ecosystem, support what you're doing on your website, support what you're doing on your social media. And then obviously we also have our paid ads. So, as a checklist, paid ads may not be something that you're ready for yet, or it might be something that you want to start in a low level awareness way. And I've talked about this quite a lot recently about always on marketing. And paid ads are a great way to have some really cost effective always on marketing, something that's just ticking away at keeping your brand out there with the relevant target market that's not costing you a lot, but is kind of setting the scene so you can dial up when you need and really strengthen your marketing messages. That paid ads, on your checklist might be Google ads and Meta ads, might be LinkedIn ads, it might be TikTok ads, it might be one, it might be all. Again, that's going to come into your goals and your target market. I like to think of Google ads as high intent. So, if you have a product or service that people are searching for actively, and if SEO, you're just starting out on your SEO journey and you need some more kind of timely generation of leads and sales, that pay per click in terms of Google ads can help because, the customer is searching and we are serving the ad in response to that. They have high intent. Your social media ads, I think, tend to be more aimed at taking people on a journey. So, building awareness and then remarketing from that awareness to build them on that journey to conversion. It can also be great for things that are really impulse. It can be great for things that people don't know that they need yet, but when they get the ad for it, then they go, oh, it's really relevant. So, if you've got a product or service that people aren't actively searching because maybe you're doing something really unique or maybe, you've got a different service model, social ads are a great way to get it discovered by your target market before they're actively looking for it. So, different approaches as to why you might use Google ads versus social ads. But, having on your checklist is ads for you now, is ads for you later. Is it tactically, at those key times of year, you're an accountant and you want to run campaigns in April to kind of get tax planning clients on board to then be able to take over their accounts in that new financial year. Is that the time when you advertise as opposed to, just any month of the year? So thinking about that timeliness for you. So then in your digital marketing checklist, you also need to have a bit of a plan of approach for how you're going to analyze and track your marketing. So, is that you're going to look at it monthly? Are you going to look at it weekly? Are you going to look at quarterly? Thinking back to those goals, how are you setting up the reporting up front to make sure that you can analyze and track and know how you're going down the other end? So, I think it's really important in your checklist to have a clear idea of how you're going to analyze and track and what that looks like for you, whether that's relying on something like Google Analytics or whether it's about, platform analytics from social media and email marketing, and maybe, your website has its own platform analytics. How are you going to use all that information to make really informed decisions for the next period ahead? Then depending on your business, something else you might want to have on your checklist is sort of like customer relationship management. So, this isn't so much your digital ecosystem, but it's more around, how are you going to nurture either the leads or the customers that are buying and make sure that you can get them to keep working with you. I've talked before about, retention as a marketing strategy and how retaining our clients, getting more from our existing clients or getting referrals from our existing clients and customers can actually really build our business in a cost-effective way. So, when you're thinking of your digital marketing plan and, you sort of building this checklist of what you need for your business, have a think about that. And, if you're an e-commerce business, a lot of this CRM can be run through your email marketing platform or even Shopify. If you're more of a B2B, like for myself with an agency, this is going to be where some really good CRM software comes into place and, mapping out relationships and check-in points and, rewarding loyalty or acknowledging loyalty. So it's really important to think about how that's all going to come together for you. So that's, I guess, my top line checklist for you as, starting out or on your journey in owning the business to make sure you're utilizing a lot of the digital marketing tools available, and you've got a great ecosystem of digital marketing that can support your goals. Before I go today, I just wanted to touch on, I guess, the toolkit. What are some of the programs, or what are some of the tools that I think will really help you and support you in creating that digital marketing for yourself and managing your digital marketing for yourself? So when I think of a toolkit, I have to admit, one of the first things I think of is Canva. Canva is an amazing tool. There's no denying. And I think that there's still a lot of amazing graphics and assets that we need help outside of, DIY in Canva. But I think when you're starting out, and certainly, for social media, Canva is going to be your best friend. I would definitely invest in Canva Pro. I think it's about $12 to $15 a month now. And I think it's money well spent for the features that it has. So, Canva is definitely a tool that we as an agency use every single day. In your toolkit, you're also going to want a really good email marketing platform. I really love Klaviyo. I think it's a beautiful platform. It works beautifully with Shopify as well. But I have to say, going to the MailChimp conference a few weeks ago, I can see some really good technology coming through from MailChimp, and coming back into that MailChimp and Shopify space where they kind of broke apart a few years ago. There's some really great predictive analytics coming into MailChimp, working with Shopify, that I think is really going to revolutionize and reposition MailChimp as a serious leader in that email marketing space. If you're more of a B2B, I do quite like MailChimp for that. I love the automations in there and the journeys in there. And then Active Campaign is quite good as well in terms of, again, journeys. And when I talk about journeys, I mean kind of if this, then that. If someone's been with us for 6 months and we haven't invoiced them since then, send them an email asking to set up a meeting and check in, using your automation software to keep people warm with you and retained with you. Obviously, social media management, there's a ton of different apps. I really love Later. I think it has a great interface. It's really easy to duplicate between platforms and edit for, platform specifics. I think it's quite cost effective. I think Plan is also quite good as well. Obviously, in terms of analytics, I do love Google Analytics. Not going to lie, the change to GA4 has been quite hard. Definitely, I'm still finding my feet in finding data in there. The old Google Analytics we were so used to. If you have a Shopify site, Shopify Analytics are quite fantastic as well. But Google Analytics can be good if you're running paid ad campaigns. I think sometimes Shopify, it's a little bit harder to see the attribution of everything, whereas Google Analytics is a bit clearer. In terms of website building, if you're building an e-com, please build it in Shopify. My thoughts on Wix here. And Wix has become quite expensive once you start to flesh out the platform as well. And I just don't think it stacks up in terms of what it can do. If you're looking at just a pure brochure style website that doesn't need functionality, Squarespace I quite like. That said, some of the new functionality in Squarespace for things like e-com or membership is quite nice, but it's not my go-to. If you're building a site where you want functionality in the future, I think WordPress is still really solid. CRM-wise, I think HubSpot is a great CRM for B2B. I think it does get expensive once you start fleshing out, but at the same time, it can really save you time in your business, and it can help you with, lead generation, lead management, lead nurturing, appointment setting. It can do so much, and it has great tracking. So for social media, for paid ads, it really integrates into your whole ecosystem. So I think HubSpot is actually quite a great piece of CRM. And if I was in B2B, that's probably where I'd be going as well. Payment processes, Stripe and PayPal are probably the go-tos. I think in the last sort of little while, Stripe has maybe become a bit more popular than PayPal. especially just to letting people put their credit cards in as well. But in terms of a toolkit, I forgot to say CapCut. So if you're creating social media for yourselves outside of Canva, CapCut is amazing for making reels, for making TikTok videos. Also, CapCut on desktop is a hot tip. So it can be a little bit easier than on your phone, especially if you're not as used to editing on your phone as some of our younger friends. CapCut, again, paying for the CapCut Pro, it can do some really handy things for you. It can take a big video, cut it down into video snippets. It can make captions. It's got some great AI tools in there as well. And then speaking of AI tools for your toolkit, to wrap up, I don't mind ChatGPT, but I've actually been doing a bit more in Gemini recently, and I quite like Gemini. I feel like it's a little bit more up to date than ChatGPT, even ChatGPT 4. So I have definitely been doing a little bit more in there. So look, that's a really, I guess, holistic look at a digital marketing checklist for your business where you can, start somewhere in your digital marketing plan and then have areas to build out as your business grows and as you grow on your journey. And then a toolkit there that's going to help you, not waste time trying too many things out and go straight to some proven tools that are going to save you time and really enhance your marketing. Thank you so much for joining me today with Marketing Confidence. I hope you found it useful. I'd love to hear from you. Please reach out on Instagram and share your thoughts with me about this episode. Hey, thanks for listening to another episode. If you don't want to miss one, make sure you subscribe to the show in your podcast app. And if you love it, be sure to share it with friends and colleagues who you think could benefit from increasing their digital marketing confidence. Want more? Head to marianneamies.com to find out how you can work with me directly, to reach out to have me speak at your event, or to grab yourself some free resources.